Well, it's time now to learn something about Greek participles. Just a warning here, participles are the thing that Greek students universally testify to having nightmares about. Actually, the most challenging thing that I have ever found to be the case about participles is how to figure out why people have so much trouble with them. I think we'll be able to deal with them just fine as long as we remember that a participle, part, it is part verb and it is part adjective. And if we keep a close eye on it and watch for all the things it can do, we'll do just fine. For now we'll worry about formation, but then if you are in one of my full classes at the Potter's School or at the American Lutheran Theological Seminary, you'll see how they work in practice in the complete course. Just a reminder, we always have something fun happening. Fun? Well, something important happening, I hope, at Wittenberg Door Campus Ministry. You're welcome to join us there, virtually or in real life. All right, in this lesson we want to learn to form a present participle, and we'll form a present active participle, and then later we'll work on a present passive participle as well. The middle looks just like the passive. Now, to form a present active participle, all we do is we use the present stem of a verb, and then we add an adjective ending to it. Now, the masculine and the neuter are both going to be third declension. The masculine nominative singular will end in on and have a genitive in ontos, and then the neuter will be on with a genitive in ontos. And those will both be third declension adjectives. We'll see them, we'll see them in just a moment on another page. The feminine nominative singular will end in ousa and the genitive in ouses, and that's going to follow the first declension. So the masculine and the neuter are third declension adjectives, but the feminine is a first declension adjective. Let's take a look at that formation. You see we have a present active participle, luon. You see the present stem in all three genders, and then you see the adjective ending on, ousa, on, and the genitive singular ontos, ouses, ontos. See that stem there in the genitive case, exactly what you want to see. And you see from then on, masculine and neuter are third declension. See it? Masculine and neuter, third declension after the stem. Feminine, first declension. See it? So formation is not going to be all that tough as long as you remember the nominative singular and the genitive singular. Again, that nominative and genitive becomes very important, and it will remain very important forever. Might as well try to get used to it. Now, if you ever think you'll have trouble with these present active participles, let's look at the present active participle, or the present participle rather, for the verb of being. Why do we look at that? Look at that, on, ousa, on, and then ontos, ouses, ontos. What's going on here? If you have the present stem, such as lu, and you add the present participle for the being verb as if it's an ending, you're going to have a present active participle. So it might be a good idea first to memorize the present participle for the verb of being, and then you'll see that you know the present active participle itself. Now, that's just the active. Let's look at the middle or passive participle. This is going to be a little bit easier, or rather it will look more familiar to you, because it is a first and second declension adjective. It uses the present verb stem, and then it adds men. You see men, M-E-N. And then look at this, os, a, on. Those are first and second declension adjective endings, and they won't cause any problem whatsoever. So you see what happens, luamenos, luamene, luamenon. Os, a, on. Oh, look, those are first and second declension. The formation will not cause you any problem. Now, what is going to be challenging about the participle? Here it is for analysis and translation. People have written long books about the analysis and translation of a participle, and we're just going to keep it simple. We'll try to observe the participles in their natural habitat, and that will go nicely. Just remember, please, you might want to write this down, take a screenshot. As a verb, a participle has tense and voice. Does it have mood? Well, not really. Technically, participle is not a mood, but I'm going to break the rules and bother grammarians and say, yeah, we'll just call the mood participle, and that'll be okay. As a verb, a participle can take a direct object in the accusative case. All right, that's fine. It can take a direct object in the accusative case. Sorry, my telephone has started talking to me, but it'll go away. As an adjective, so that's as a verb. Now, as an adjective, a participle has gender, number, case, and function. Remember, it is part verb, part adjective. So it has gender, number, case, and function. And its function can be anything that an adjective can do, and that includes, if it has an article with it, it can act just like a noun. In fact, you know one already, probably, the third declension noun ha archon, a ruler, is really just a present participle of the verb archo, I rule, and it's being used as a noun. Just fine. Makes sense. A ruling person. Now, number 5 is a little confusing. Normally, in the attributive position, a participle is primarily an adjective, while in the predicate position, it's primarily adverbial. That's not going to make much sense until we start seeing them in some sort of context, but we will see them many, many times. Those biblical authors liked to use participles, especially the Apostle Paul, and I am fond of reminding my students that the biblical authors know Greek a whole lot better than we do. So they'll use them. Now, how are we going to translate this critter? At least as a beginner, I want you to try to use ing. That's a present participle ending in English. So, ha luon, the active participle, would be the one loosing, and ha luamenos, the middle or passive participle, would either be the one loosing for himself, which is pretty unlikely, or the passive, the one being loosed. And notice if it's masculine, it may well refer to a man. It might be there with an adjective, ha luon anthropos, the loosing man. Ha luamenos anthropos, the man being loosed. And remember that participles may exist in any gender, case, or number. All right, I think that's probably about enough to make our brains go to automatic shutdown. This one might take viewing a few more times, but there you go. The present participle, part verb, part adjective. Keep doing Greek, it's a good thing.